Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Yuanyu Perspectives. Today, I want to talk about a short article I wrote back in 2016 titled A Simple Economic Analysis of Giving Up Your Seat. Let's start with a basic principle in economics. The Coase Theorem. It says that as long as property rights are clearly defined and transaction costs are low, resources will naturally be allocated efficiently through voluntary exchange. Now think about what a public transit ticket really buys you. It's not just a ride. It's a bundle of explicit and implicit rights and obligations. And those implicit obligations? They're usually filled in by social norms and moral expectations. Take priority seating, for example. The existence of courtesy seats implies that your right to sit there comes with a kind of voluntary moral constraint. You're expected to give it up if someone else needs it more. Whether this expectation is actually enforced depends on the context and who's managing it. Type 1. High-cost transportation with formal enforcement. Think about air travel, high-speed trains, or ferries. These are higher-priced services where the company actively enforces seat usage, assigns seats, ticket checks, even on board staff like conductors or flight attendants to resolve disputes. So if something unexpected happens, like someone needing a seat they didn't book, it's the crew's job to step in, not the passengers. Most of the time, passengers aren't legally obligated to give up their seats, and when disputes happen, they're usually between passengers and staff, not passenger versus passenger. Type 2. Low-cost transport with peer enforcement now. Compare that to buses or subways. These are low-cost services where the transit provider doesn't monitor who sits where. There's no assigned seating, no post-entry ticket checks. So all the decisions, who sits, who gives up their seat, who uses a courtesy seats, and even who pretends to need them, are enforced by other passengers. This is where things get messy. In the second type of system, rights are more ambiguous. Transaction costs are much higher. And there's no market mechanism to resolve seating rights. And since there's no way for you to pay a premium to guarantee a seat, the situation becomes a playground for what I call moral busybodies, people who jump in to enforce what they believe is right, even if it's not their business. This is a classic case where markets fail and social norms try to take over. As economist Armin Alkian once said, justice is never the real issue. The issue is who gets to define it. That's why we see so many petty public disputes in Taiwan over people refusing to give up seats on buses or the MRT. These aren't legal issues. They're failures in system design that encourage strangers to police one another. Interestingly, transit providers who avoid regulating seating also avoid being dragged into these moral messes. That's part why courtesy seats exist and why they're so clearly marked. There's even more to unpack. There are fascinating trends here. The older, frielier, or even more physically intimidating someone is, the more likely they are to sit in the courtesy seat. Meanwhile, young men often choose to stand, even when regular seats are free. Could you pay moral busybodies to shut up? Or sue them into silence? Would that be a viable strategy? Maybe. All of this is just a fun application of the Coase Theorem and a small intro to law and economics. Oh, and one last thing. It's hilarious that something this trivial even makes the news. That, too, is an economic topic worth exploring. If you're interested in how pay more, skip the line systems reflect rights allocation, check out my 2013 piece, The Curious Case of Line Cutting. It dives into how Disneyland's paid express passes gave rise to a bizarre side industry, renting disabled people to skip lines. That's another great example of incentives gone wild. That's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode of Yuanyu Perspectives.